How's it going?
It is going real well. How are you liking StocktonCon so far?
So far, so good. It's very cool to be back. I mean, it's kind of this kind of the Bay Area, right? We're like close to the Bay.
Yeah.
It's kind of Stockton's one like the Val, I guess, kind of Valley. But I'm from the Bay Area, so I feel close to the Bay right now. I'm seeing a lot of folks and friends and whatnot, so it's great. It's a little hotter inland, right? It's a little hotter. And there's certain. I shot a movie in Modesto years back. It never made it out. This movie. It's called The Head Thieves, but we're in the Valley. We shot there, and then growing up as a kid in the East Bay, we used to go to this water park called Manteca. Yep. You remember Manteca? Some guys like, I'm from Manteca. I was like, we just go to the water slides there. It's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, there were water slides there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Damn, Manteca water slides, classic. So I know the area, so it's good to be back.
Let's talk a little bit about, but I'm a cheerleader.
You're jumping deep. You're going deep cut early in the game.
Good, yep.
But I'm a cheerleader. Classic movie.
Natasha Lyonne, RuPaul.
Varsity.
Yep.
Wrestling. Homosexual varsity wrestler. Dolph.
And so, obviously, when you made that, you didn't think that, where's this going to go? But, how it's kind of gotten a new life. What do you contribure that to?
I mean, just, we made that in the late 90s, right? We were all like young, we were like young Hollywood, hot. I don't know, we thought it was cool. We were all cool kids in Hollywood. And there's Natasha Lyonne, Clea Duvall, myself, Kip Pardue, RuPaul playing our camp counselor, Kathy Moriarty, who's like a legend from Raging Bull and whatnot. There was a new director named Jamie Babbitt, and I remember meeting for her for the role, and they wanted me to do it. And for people that don't know, but I'm a cheerleader, it's about these teenage kids that go to gay camp to become ungay, which it's a comedy. It's a comedy, and it's a dark comedy. I mean, it's so much. For if you haven't seen it, RuPaul's one of our camp counselors trying to teach us to be straight. So that's where we're at, right?
And RuPaul is not in drag.
No, and RuPaul not in drag. And Eddie Cibrian's in the movie.
Spain, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really cool. I mean, look, I grew up in Hollywood at that time, and of course, the LGBTQ community is always a part of our Hollywood community, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It was like, of course, we're allies. Let's make this movie. I'm straight, and so when the director approached me for it, she was like, "I want you to play this character," and I read the script, and at first, Dolph was written as it's Dolph, like Dolph Lundgren. He was supposed to be like a 6-foot blonde quarterback in the high school, right? And I was like, and Kip Pardue, you have Kip Pardue. It's his first movie. He's like he hasn't done anything yet, but I'm like, what about Kip? Like, he's a friggin', that's what he is, But no, she's like, no, but you should play Dolph. And I'm like, why me? And she was like, because Dolph is the kid next door, and you're the kid next door. And I love that about her, seeing that past ethnicity and everything. And I was like, but I don't know about the quarterback. She's like, I know. What did you do in high school? I was like, I wrestled. She's like, you'll be a wrestler. But it's one of those things where I'm very proud to be a part of the movie. It went to Sundance. My first time going to Sundance Film Festival. And especially as the things went on to online stuff. Like, I remember especially like in my Tumblr days. Yeah, Tumblr days.
Someone remembers Tumblr.
My inbox, so many teenagers would write to me about, and even today on IG and TikTok and stuff, that coming out, that's one of the movies that really helped them come out to their parents as teenagers, as like it was part of the conversation as through a comedy. So I'm very proud to be a part of that film and proud to be an ally to the community.
When the Goofy movie ended and you saw it in its full, the full movie, did you realize it would have the impact that it has today?
No. I never watched it fully back then because it was like, I was probably past the Goofy movie stage, you know what I'm saying? I was like a cool-ass teenager or 20. I don't know what I was. Matter of fact, it's crazy now that it's become this thing where like it's all beloved. I just watched it. I mean, I recently became a father, so for Father's Day, I have a thing on my Instagram called Monday Cinema Club where we just talk about movies every week. For Father's Day this year, we watched a Goofy movie. and it was so dope to watch. I loved. It just took me back, and I have a lot of friends from the movie. I mean, Marsden is a good buddy of mine, and I barely. Is he here?
Yeah. He's here, yeah.
I gotta go say hi to this fool.
He's like 30 feet from your booth.
I have not. My booth has been stuck. People can't about think I've been like talking to the person in front of me. That's all I've had time for. I gotta give that guy a hug. But I don't even know what that movie. Like when we did, that's my first voiceover line. I was not even. When I did that movie, I walked into the studio and I wasn't even doing voiceover yet. I was just doing whatever, and I was. It was hot as heck in Burbank. I was with my brothers. We were walking around the lot. This is the Disney lot, right? And it's back in the this is the 90s, and it's hot. And I've got baggy pants or shorts on. We took our shirts off because it's hot as hell. And the security guard's like, "Hey, y'all can't walk around here with no shirt on." And like we had like baggy our boxers hanging out. We're like, "Yo, it's hot." And we're in there, and we got into the booth, and they were like, the guy was like, "Well, how would you pick up a girl?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "How would do you have any lines to pick up a girl?" I'm like, "No." Like, although at that time, there was a thing. Like at that time, my favorite song that was on the radio was from a band called Jodeci. And my favorite song was called "Come and Talk to Me." And the remix of "Come and Talk to Me" has Casey and JoJo going, "Come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl." And we used to this is what we do to girls, too, on the street. "I really want to know your name." And my brother would be like, "Yo, come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name." And then Casey at the end goes, "Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, baby." That's the line.
That's it.
I was just doing Jodeci.
I haven't watched the debut in a while, but I'm going to check it out again.
Check it out, man. Thank you.
During the hook insult dinner, how many times did you have to rehearse or practice and go over that back and forth with Robin Williams? Like every single insult that you could think of, PG rated.
Yeah, it was intense. We did. It was like at least a day or two of doing that scene. I remember people love that. People love the food fight scene and the insult scene. And it's great. I'll watch it. It's great. But I'm an actor, so my feeling of it, if you look at that's the scene where I start losing my crew. So my feeling of that scene is always an uneasy feeling for me personally. But everyone loves it, and I'm like, I know you love it, but I kind of don't like it. But the insult scene, so all of it's scripted for me. For both of us, they're scripted. It's so funny the way they're doing all these things, but it's a lot of lines. And for a kid, these are not. We don't usually speak this way, so it was a lot I had to memorize and kind of figure out. And you're going against Robin Williams, and Robin likes to do a thing called improv. But he'll always do. Robin will always do the lines as written. He's a professional of professionals, but he kind of mastered the whole improv on. He's on on screen. He was a pioneer of doing that on screen, and so he would do the take right a few times the way the director wants it and the writer, and then he'd look at Steve and he'd be like when he does this, that means we're going again, and he's gonna go off, and it's nerve-wracking. Because he's like the Marlon Brando of improv. He's the Superman of improv. And you have a few choices in the moment. You can try to improv with him. It's not good. I'm 15-year-old kid. I'm not doing that. You could just get steamrolled. I'm a b-boy breakdancer. I'm not gonna get steamrolled. What I chose to do was stick to the script and let him do his thing and then cut him off. Not cut him off, but you know what I'm saying? You got to just hold strong in what you're doing. But it was good. We did it a lot, and it was fun. And some of those things, I was a kid. I don't know what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Till you watch it later on as an adult, and you're like, oh, damn, he's saying, nearsighted gynecologist. I didn't. That flew over my head as a kid. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. So he was funny, great stuff. But that's a classic insult scene.
Well, that's why they had the censors look at Morgan Mindy, because he would just go off and go on improv, and he'd just swear in different languages all the time. So
His mind moved a mile a minute. He was phenomenal.
What was it like working with the guys at Channel Awesome for the top 10 best episodes of Avatar: Last Airbender and for the fanscription episode of What If Rufio Lived in Hook?
Okay, first Channel Awesome, Doug and them.
Yes, the Nostalgia Critic.
Nostalgia Critic, great. I love Doug, amazing. I met him at a Comic-Con. He talked me into coming to Chicago to shoot something with him. His videos are amazing. He's crazy. I didn't read what he wrote until I was landing into Chicago, and I was like, nah, I can do all this stuff. This is crazy. But he's great, and I love his take on the things. I'm happy he gave some really good reviews for some stuff I've done. So they're great. Channel Awesome is great, and it's his family. He works with his brother and his father, and it's awesome. And as far as Rufio surviving, I don't know, man. He's dead.
That was the Channel Awesome fanscription episode of What If Rufio Lived, because they did the fanscription episode of where Rufio would live, and then we get the sequel where he's the leader of the Lost Boys.
Right. I don't know. I think I haven't seen that part of it, but Rufio's a beloved. I love Rufio. He's dead, which sucks. But we had written some stuff. There's a lot of people that pitched stuff, and we pitched stuff about a prequel about how he got to Neverland, which I think could be interesting.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
How would the Lost Boys do in Pittsburgh?
They'd be all right. They have a little depot society and do their thing.
You've been in TV gigs since 1988. And basically, I'm going to ask this question of how do you stay employed and stay busy and find that next gig?
It's magical. I don't freaking know how this works. No, this is the deal. Like, I've been an actor. I left the Bay and I went to LA with my brothers as breakdancers. It's weird, right? So we were breakdancing in the Bay, but we got pretty popular. We started in the streets, and then we did all these contests every weekend. I think we won like 30 contests over a year, which is like, my mom was driving us around all around, right? And we got pretty popular where we're like, people knew who we were, and then we started like opening up for like acts coming to LA. Like we opened up for Vanity at the Stone in the city, or like we opened up for like Ice-T when he came to town for like a KML concert. And then we danced for the 49ers on halftime shows. We danced for the Oakland A's. Rest in peace, Oakland A's. Dang it. We were Bay Area boys. We danced for the Oakland A's for like the 4th inning and 7th inning stretches. So we were like Bay Area boys working, getting paid to dance. And then we got scholarships to the San Francisco Ballet Company. And we studied ballet. And we did the Nutcracker. And we were like, should we just go to LA and like jump into the Hollywood? You know what I'm saying? And me and my brother, everyone, my mom went to each one of us, like, yeah, let's go. I'm down. For sure, I was like, I'm in. Let's go. So we jumped in our big red van and drove down the 5 and went to Hollywood. And I was 10. All that happened before I was 10.
Filipino Michael Jackson.
The Jackson 5, I always say. Something like the Jacksons, but with Filipino, like Michael and Marlon and Jermaine and Tito. Yeah, so it's weird to think of that. I came to Hollywood when I was 10, and all that happened before I came to Hollywood. And I'm about to turn 50 in August, so I've been in Hollywood for 40 years, like, which is arguably one of the hardest professions in the world. And I came to Hollywood as a Filipino kid. So
From Pittsburgh,
California, dang it. And so when I came to Hollywood, nobody knew what a Filipino was. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird thing in Hollywood. Like we all, as Americans, we know like you cannot hire or fire somebody based on like what they look like or their ethnicity, like black, white, their sexual preference, their religion. Like we know the rules, right? Except in Hollywood. In Hollywood, they're like, we are going to cast you exactly what you look like or whatever, or where you can fit in. And especially at that time, there was like no Asian roles. There's black and white roles. There's all white roles, some black roles, some Latino roles, Asian, nothing. And then Filipino, we don't even know what that is. And so I would just walk in the room because I was a B-boy and I danced from the streets. I'm like a battle dancer, you know? And I'm like, what's the role? And they're like, Mexican. And I'm like, well, I'm Filipino. You know what happened to the Mexicans, right? That happened to us too. I mean, it's the same thing. In Spanish names, we got colonized by Spain. Like, you rock with it. They're like, what's the role? Chinese. I'm like, my grandma on my dad's side, there's some Chinese in there for sure. We're Asian, you know? They're like, what's the role? They're like, Hawaiian. I'm like, we're Pacific Islanders, though. I just say all that, like, you just gotta, like, keep going after 40 years. So I was able to play everything and kind of get, you know, that's the one good thing about being Filipino, is like this ethnically ambiguous thing that you got going on there. You know what I'm saying? For that time, things have changed now. Now we're like trying to do like really specific things, which is odd because I produce also, and I'm like, you know, you guys, this is fiction. This is non-fiction. Like, none of these characters are real. Like, what are we trying to cast? Like, what village they're from? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a dolphin. But he's an Asian dolphin. I don't care. He's a dolphin. What are we doing? So, I mean, I think the pendulum swings. But so, in this town, you just kind of, I don't know how I kept working. You know, it's always a blessing to kind of keep working. There's things that that I get hired for, that I'm part of other people's stories. I've also been fortunate to being able to write through poetry, like I said, then writing screenplays and plays and films, and I've got to further my experience in this town, not just being in front of the camera, being in you know, I get to be behind the camera and get to give opportunities to other actors and writers and directors. So I don't know. I mean, I've just been real fortunate to kind of keep my boat afloat, so to speak. And Hollywood's been really good to me.
What's your most difficult experience of work, like doing cartoon voice or doing live action, like TV series or movies?
I mean, I would never say it's difficult. You know, it's part of it's like it's all good. It's just when you're acting, you're kind of servicing a story and you're servicing a character, and it's, you know, certain scenes could be harder than other scenes. It's about finding a character, finding the voice, finding like, just for me, just trying to be honest and earnest in telling the story, and trying to put yourself in these fictional situations and being how you would really react in those moments per that character. But ultimately, you know, you come to Comic-Cons here, we go to Comic-Cons all over the world, and we go to these things, and on both sides, you look at all the talent that's there. It's really about great stories. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be Star Wars or Harry Potter or Avatar, it's about landing in a great story and trying to do justice to those stories. And that the whole reason why we come to these things to celebrate these things is because we've all been a part of some great story. And so I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's rewarding and it's special. The difficult part, really, as I've kind of grown up in the industry, is like getting things made, funding them, getting money to make it, convincing studio people or convincing money people to invest in these stories, take a chance, not knowing if this is gonna pop off or not. You know what I'm saying? That's really the difficult part.
You're very big on the spoken word and poetry, and how does that relate to you? How tell us about the importance of the spoken word and poetry, and then obviously, you know, I read that you had the poetry lounge in Hollywood at one point. You know, and poetry slams. Talk about that genre of, you know, performance.
Right. So, so I love poetry. So first and foremost, I'm a hip hop kid. I'm a b-boy, right? I'm a hip hop kid. Like, I grew up, before I was an actor, I was a dancer. Me and my brothers were a group called the Street Freaks from the East Bay area, and we performed in the streets of San Francisco and Berkeley, Telegraph Avenue, Pier 39, Market Street. Like, we were those kids, right? I'm talking about early 80s, mid 80s, the pioneering days of hip hop. And so that's how I started my whole career, and still I consider myself a hip hop artist to this day. Now, when I got to LA, Dead Poet Society. So I watched Dead Poet Society
with Robin Williams.
Before I worked with Robin Williams, and we loved that movie. Me and my brothers. And when I started shooting the movie Hook, I told Robin about how, being such a big fan of the movie, so much so that we formed our own Dead Poet Society in my neighborhood. So when I moved from the Bay to LA, I was in a little town called Paramount, which is like right next to Compton. It's like a little neighborhood. And so we, in my hood, we created our own Dead Poet Society, and it was called 13607 and a half, which became our rap band, because it was like the garage to our house, the half. And so my brothers and a lot of the neighborhood kids that we all kind of hung together from the hood were like, we would go there, we'd write raps, we'd write poems. Like the movie, we were just young teenagers trying to suck the marrow out of life. We'd drive to the beach in the middle of the night and howl at the moon and just try to like force each other to kind of like, go talk to girls, write poetry. Like it was like the movie, just in the hood. We were the hood Dead Poet Society. And Robin Williams got such a kick out of that, because I told him, like, we have our own Dead Poet Society. Matter of fact, they came to the set on Hook one day, and there's a picture of the whole crew with Robin, and we had, this is the 90s now, right? Early 90s, 1990. We went to Compton Indoor Swap Meet, and we got him a hat made, because back in those days, I don't know, still, I'm sure today, Compton Indoor Swap Meet, we got this hat made, embroidered with our clique, 13607 and a half. That's our Dead Poet Society, right? And underneath it says, "Oh Captain, my Captain," like from the movie. And so there's a picture of us the whole there. And so me and Robin would talk a lot about poetry, and I started writing poetry. And then when the movie ended, he gave me this really beautiful book, Leaves of Grass, big leather-bound book, and gave me a really beautiful inscription. The 90s are happening. I continued to write poetry, and then I started a poetry venue in my living room, and it was called Dante's Poetry Lounge, DPL. And all these people came through, and it got crazy. Like, people were just at the house. I don't know, girls hiding in closets. I'm like, you gotta get out. This is my house. You know what I'm saying? People knocking on my door when there's no poetry. It got a little dangerous. Not dangerous, just like, a lot of random people in your house. And we were young artists, and that went from there to the coffee shop to a theater, cut to like, today, I got my other friends involved, and then I dropped my name off it. It became DPL, Dub Poetry Lounge, which has become the largest weekly open mic venue in the country. We celebrated our 28th anniversary like about a month ago. But that became the inspiration, which became Def Poetry Jam on HBO. That went to Broadway, won a Tony. And so poetry has kind of been a big part of my life. The important thing to me about poetry, I don't know if there's a lot of poets out there, people that write, is because I've been an actor my whole life. And when you're an actor, you're kind of you're a little piece of all these other someone else's story, right? A movie, Hook, or Avatar, or whatever, and you're a character in someone else's story, which is beautiful, and I'll be that forever, right? But when I started doing poetry, is the first time in my life where, even for like a 2-minute poem, like I get to tell my story. I get to digest my life and kind of be on stage for a second and just tell you how I see the world for a second, and that just moment of being able to tell these little stories through poems. Turned into me writing plays, turned into me writing movies, and went on to me to produce movies today and direct films today. So, yeah, that's all part of it.
Do you have a favorite poem that you've written?
Tons of poems. You want to hear a poem?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm looking.
You want to hear a poem?
Or a poetry slam.
I know. Actually, like early when I started doing cons, they always there's all these panels they want you to do, especially anime cons, and sometimes you got to do multiple. So there was like an interview one, like, what else you want to do? And I would throw poetry readings where I would have, I do some poems, And then everyone who came, like people could sign up and just do poems, and we just do an hour of like poems. So I'll do some poems. So let me think. I wrote all these little short avatar poems.
Oh, nice.
Here's one. A poem called Honor for something lost or misplaced, etched into your consciousness like a scar upon your face. This honor that you chase isn't always what you thought. Matter of fact, the fact that you always had is the very reason why you set out to prove its existence from the start. Toph Beifong, so small but so strong. She moves mountains. Next time I go on a life-changing adventure, you're invited to come along. A poem for my friend who doesn't even bend. But his heart's just as big as the rest of them. Plus, he always has my back, make me laugh because he's funny. And when his girlfriend turned into the moon, all I can say was, "That's rough, buddy." And then, okay, one for the girl. One for the girl. What was that one? I'm trying to think what I read for her. I was, well, there's this. I ship Zutara even though it's not canon. Because I'm a hopeless romantic. Some things are best left to be imagined.
That's good.
Also, you did a role for in Boondocks, which is so out of character because I was like,
oh yeah,
dude, this is so weird hearing you like say these lines, and I'm just like, I just want to know like walk me through your process when you got that role. And just like,
I didn't know what I was
doing.
doing.
What were you doing?
I got to.
Yeah, like your reaction because like it's out of character.
I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, first of all, I'm a fan of Boondocks. Everyone's a fan of Boondocks.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's when they call you to do like, hey, do Boondocks, like, yeah, cool, let's do it. And Andrea Romano actually was the director of Boondocks who directs Avatar: Last Airbender. So she just called me to do a little character on there, the Tibetan soccer player, right?
Yeah, the Tibetan soccer player. Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing, bro. I'm gonna tell you something about acting sometimes, especially with voice acting, but even on-screen acting sometimes. It's like there's a thing you do called assume the position, where it's just like they hire you. First of all, a lot of us don't know what we're doing. It takes, when you're doing a bigger character, you can kind of get into it over time through episodes, or you're doing theater, you're rehearsing it a lot, and by the time it's on stage, or by the time you're in you found your character and we're in it and we're like really a part of it. When you're doing like small characters on shows, they call it guest starring. Like guest star role just means you just came in to do like one day thing or something. We don't know what we're doing. You're just feeling it out and you're kind of having fun. You have to have a little bit of play in you, like a lot of just, again, the easiness to like kind of come in and be a part of a thing, someone else's group, and just play and try to do a character while you're there. But there's like writers and directors and everyone's kind of like, do this, try this, and you're like, all right, let's try it. When I saw that, I was like, what the hell was that? But it was funny. But, it's also politically charged. I'm always down for something like that. So it was fun.
Thank you, Dante.
Thank you.
Well, we are out of time with Dante. He is up on the second deck. You can get an autograph, get a picture, talk to him as well. Let's give a hand for Dante.
Thank you guys so much.